This is Blake Miller with Stringjoy Strings. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about kind of creating legato licks. Something I'm working on in my own playing. Kind of came from the school of picking almost every note if possible to kind of develop that speed, right? The goal being when you play something, it sounds a little bit more fluid. You know, a la Alan Hines is one guy from MI that for sure does this really, really well. So I'm going to attempt to kind of elaborate on it a bit here. So what we're going to do is start out with maybe playing something kind of in, let's do C major. So, right, the goal being, again, that we're going to kind of play parts of that scale. So we're going to play the first, the second, and the third. But the goal is going to be to develop the strings. So when we do this, we're playing basically this kind of lick like this with one picking motion. So rock guys are pretty good at this, like a lot of the Neil Sean stuff too. Like he picks a lot of his notes, you know. But the goal is going to be that way you can create this kind of cool, little less motion, right? So when we play this stuff, those licks like that make it a little bit more, again, interesting, right? That's the whole goal of kind of playing lead guitar, is you're adding to the song. So when you play these parts, no matter where you play them, maybe grab a metronome, grab a friend to kind of jam with you, creating kind of a solid rhythm and something to play off of with different chords. Doesn't matter really what progression. Legato licks kind of work, major, minor, even some of your other options, right? So when we're playing stuff like something based around kind of a C tone, what I want to do is I want to create notes that, again, are in the key, right? Kind of creating cool ideas, maybe going outside playing some modal things, but still creating kind of this fluid, right? More based on the fingers, you know? So what I've kind of been working on, and again, always in progress, is playing maybe minor shapes. So in the case of like an A minor chord, right? Playing in the scale, right? The 6th, 7th, and the 8th, or the 1, right? In a C major. So what I do is I play, right, with one pick stroke and still creating kind of this finger strength, right? And even working on maybe, depending on how my fingers do, so like this is a manageable gap, 2nd to 5th, or manageable distance, right? Maybe working on just my fingers. And then as I feel comfortable, going maybe bigger gaps like this and moving it around. So then when I come to pick it, right, it becomes a little bit easier to play stuff. And the goal is, the less you pick, the more fluid it's going to sound as you go, right? A little bit harder to string skip with this, at least in my little bit of experience I have. But it is a really interesting way to phrase and voice things, you know, as you play. So legato licks, just think of any key you want to pick, right? And stick to, again, a scale you know. So in this case, a major scale. For me, even if it's coming from the 1 chord, so basing it on C, playing that root note, 2nd and 3rd. And just working on getting that speed until you really feel comfortable, right? And then maybe playing with the metronome to see if you're in time and you're applying those techniques well. Or coming from a minor chord, in this case the 6th, right? And it'll really develop those fingers. Granted, it's tiring, but it will help create more interesting lead work for you.